Hey guys, it's that time again, and let's hang out for a few minutes to talk about what I picked up at the comic shop this week. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first up, and I'm going to talk about it in a initial assessment video, is G.I. Joe Issue 1 by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley and colors by Jordi Belair. So like I said, I haven't had a chance to look at this one yet, so we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. Alright, and I chose to give Absolute Batman a second issue just to give it another shot. And I still feel the same way. It just leaves me cold. The artwork is awesome by Nick Dragotta, but the story just doesn't pull you in. And I don't know if it's because these characters are different in different aspects of life than the normal Jim Gordon, Bruce Wayne, Harvey Dent. I don't know if it's because they're different like that, even Alfred, but it just doesn't resonate. It's as though it's a shock and awe Batman. So, if it really is Batman without the millions of dollars, without the cave, without all of the traps and tricks and things that make Bruce Wayne Batman, it loses that dynamic. It's kind of like, okay, Ultimate Spider-Man by Hickman and Company took away Aunt May, but they brought in Ben Parker. And Ben Parker acts like himself. He acts like he would have had he lived, had he been a character in Stan Lee's universe all these years, and all the other creators that have come after. This Martha Wayne, this Jim Gordon, they don't feel right. They don't connect in the way that Ben Parker has. Ben feels natural. These characters feel shoehorned into a Die-Hard universe. And that's honestly how I feel about it. Does it have a lot of energy? Yes. Does it have a lot of, chutzpah? Cajones? Yes, it does. But as far as the story, it just left me cold. So, unfortunately, this particular title is going to be discharged. And I'm not going to pick up issue 3. So, unfortunately, I'm not on the bandwagon that absolutely loves Absolute Batman. But what I did enjoy the heck out of was this Amazing Spider-Man 61 with words by Joe Kelly and art by Ed McGuinness and Mark Farmer. This brought a sense of life and energy back to the character. And it's even as though Ed McGuinness's artwork is better now that we have this breath of fresh air of Joe Kelly. We have Doom, we have Spidey, we have Spider-Boy, Randy, Shay, all of the playable characters that were in Zeb Wells' run. But we seem to have life brought back into the property. That's what Joe Kelly does, is Joe Kelly brings energy and happiness and a story. That's what this is what this series has been lacking, is a true story, something of scope, something with power. Now we do get this new spider suit here, which looks very interesting. And we get to see Spidey take his first death and rebirth. So the artwork in here is amazing by Ed McGuinness. He's not my favorite artist, but like I said, it just feels like it's a breath of fresh air and a new start for the Amazing Spider-Man. So I am definitely on board with this one. And I can't wait for the next issue in 2 weeks. I also can't wait for the next issue of Green Lantern. Jeremy Adams And Zermanico and company have created an absolute masterpiece in storytelling here. We have Prime Minister Theros, who comes back to life after the last issue, and his machinations of trying to take over the universe, and I mean the universe, with the United Planets, continues. Meanwhile, you have rogue lanterns like Alan Scott, Guy Gardner, trying to go up against Mogo and go up against all of these unseen. Meanwhile, you have a massive display of power from Mogo, who is apparently under control of the Red Lantern Corps at this point, who he was put under control by Lord Theros. That's really a cool page. I like that. And that is actually the return of Sinestro. Yes, you see that right. Guys, I've always loved Green Lantern. I actually started picking up Green Lantern, oddly enough, on a regular basis with Emerald Twilight back in 1994. But Hal has always been one of my favorite characters. But Jeff Johns was one of the people years ago that made me fall in love with Hal when he brought him back from being Parallax and brought him back to being a hero. He redeemed him. But I tried reading a couple of issues of Robert Venditti's run after Jeff had left, and maybe it was just that I was burned out and I needed to step away from the character for a while. But this is the longest in a long time that I've collected Green Lantern on a month-in, month-out basis. And as long as they keep Jeremy Adams on the title, and as long as the storyline continues with the way it's going now, I don't see me dropping this book anytime soon. And I also would not drop Helen of Wyndhorn, except this is the final issue. And this, as always, has amazing artwork by Bilquis Evely, words by Tom King, and the artwork just pops. It's I didn't read Tom King's Batman. I haven't read a whole lot of Tom King's stuff, but they say that he's wordy. They say he's overly verbose, but it works for this story. He's not overly verbose. He's just telling the story that needs to be told. And it's the story of a redemption story between grandfather and granddaughter, where they both learn more about Helen's father, who passed away, but they learn more about themselves. That's some more of that amazing artwork. This is hands down the most beautiful book that I picked up this week, artwork-wise. And I hate to see these characters go. I hope that Tom will revisit these characters at some point in the near future so that we can have more adventures with Barnabas and Helen and Joseph and Lilith. Because he brought this world, both of them, the artist and the writer, brought this world into such life that it sings with reality. It sings as though it's a pulpy story that could be real, that you could walk into. The artwork has just shown on this issues in this miniseries, and if you haven't had a chance, just wait till the trade comes out. But I would definitely recommend Helen of Wyndhorn, and I would say that if Amazing Spider-Man was my first pick this week, Helen of Wyndhorn is easily my second. And I missed out on the Sacrificers last week, but they had a copy of it this week. And this continues the story of Pigeon and his redemption battle to try to save all of the people in the world from being controlled by these gods that ask for sacrifice. Some people are born into a world just to be sacrificed. And he wants to break that chain. He wants to create something where people have a sense of freedom. They have a sense that they can choose their own will. They can choose their own path, and nobody can tell them otherwise. Nobody can stop them. Nobody can shut them down or scream them out. But unfortunately, just as always, somebody has to suffer. Somebody has to pay the ultimate price for this freedom. And I'm not going to say who it was, but it was one of Pigeon's family. And just like always, Rick Remender somehow manages to break your heart. And the art by Max Vermeer and the colors by Dave McCaig bring this story to life, make it pop, make it resonate with you emotionally, and just brings out the absolute best in all three of these creators. And this is part 1 of 4, so I can't wait for issue 13. All right, and last but definitely not least is issue 14 of Daniel Warren Johnson and Jason Howard's Transformers, where we see humans hook up with Starscream in a HISS tank. We see Starscream continue. We see his early days, and we see why and how he became the violent bot that he is. Megatron twisted him in certain ways as a young bot to become so violent and to become his weapon of destruction. But now he wants to become his own man, build his own empire, and he can start by freeing Astro Train here. Meanwhile, we still have Cybertron trying to come into the orbit of Earth. And Starscream also saves the Combaticons here. High energy, fast-paced, amazing artwork from Jason Howard and colors by Mike Spicer. This book has been great for 14 months. And hopefully for the next 10 issues, Daniel Warren Johnson can continue to knock it out of the park and give us the best story each week, each month, in and out that it could possibly be. And continue to build up this Energon universe. So guys, that's what I picked up this week. Did you guys pick up anything that I haven't read or didn't talk about in this video? I can't wait to read that G.I. Joe #1 and talk about that in initial assessment. Unfortunately, that was the only book I picked up this week that was a new #1, but I'm really, really hoping, based on Joshua Williamson's previous writing, that it's going to be something magnificent. So, thanks again for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you haven't had a chance, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep building it up. We're getting close to 150 folks. So if we get that, once we get to that 150, then we will do another giveaway. Thanks, guys. Have a great night, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.